and welcome back to CRC The Conversation. We're going to be talking again, and I have with me, I am, of course, Debbie Lassiter, the Executive Director and co-founder of the Convergence Resource Center, and of course, I am accompanied by
Carla McKeever. I'm also co-founder and CFO of Convergence Resource Center, and we are back again with another conversation.
What are we talking about today, Carla?
Today we're talking about our mail warm line that we're getting ready to launch, and also the myths about human trafficking. So that's there's so many myths, so I can't wait till we start discussing that. I'm excited.
Are you?
I am. I'm excited about that.
There are a lot of myths, and recently here, one of the things that's really kind of, I don't know if it shocked me, because I think many, many years ago I hear about it happening, but I just don't think it was quite like this. All the snow that got dumped in the warm places. I mean, was it North or South Carolina got a foot of snow?
Yeah.
Texas got snow. I mean, we froze, but they had lots and lots of snow.
Yeah.
Now, this might sound crazy to folks, but cold I can dress for. Snow, you can't even move. You can't get around. You can't leave out the house because you can't drive in that stuff, you know?
Well, you can't drive in it if you don't have the equipment to move it.
That's true.
So
that's
you
true.
could, because they every time it snows, we're still able to get around, but we have the equipment. So I was thinking, my daughter lives in North Carolina, and I have family there, and they were sending me pictures of the kids rolling down the hills And you know what I thought about is that children, no matter where they're from, even from here or even down south where they've never seen that much snow, kids really do know how to have fun.
They do.
And I can remember us making a snow hill, and you know, where I lived, we didn't have hills to go down. We would build the hill. We put all the snow on a mound, and then we get on top and then fall down. Yeah, we fall down.
I remember back in the day, you can't do this now, when we used to make ice cream out of snow. Did you guys ever do that?
Yeah, that first caught snow,
yeah. You can't do that now. You can't do that anymore.
You can't do the first caught snow?
I don't believe so. I believe there's so much pollution and stuff in the air, you'd probably be eating toxins. But anyway, look, not a good thing, but anyway, let's go on. So, what service are we going to talk about today, Carla?
Well, I just said it was the mail
warm line
and the myths.
Yeah, we're going to revisit that mail warm line, though, because we want to share some updates.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
First of all, we want to remind folks that it is a warm line, not a hotline.
Right.
So you won't be calling for, people to come and get you. Okay, that's not going to happen. But what this line is really going to be is for men. It was reported to us by some young men. They were in like their 20s, 25, that when they had been trafficked, they didn't feel comfortable sharing it with anyone. But when they did finally want to talk about it, they still didn't want to talk about trafficking per se. So they would call the hotline for suicide prevention, and they would say, I don't want to kill myself. I just need to talk to somebody. And several of them said that to us, and I was surprised to hear that. But this line is going to function as a warm line, but a little bit different. They will be able to call and talk to someone, and you and I know that many times you got to talk to somebody a lot of times. So they'll be able to call back and ask to speak to the same gentleman that they spoke to before. And they will be able to talk with them as they walk them through this healing process. They will also do warm handoffs for resources if necessary. Sometimes you can give a person a phone number and say, call this number for assistance. But other times, you need to make the introduction. You need to do that warm handoff. So they will be trained to do that. Okay. What do you think about that?
I think that's interesting. I think that's a good thing, of course. But there will be men to answer the phones. So.
Absolutely.
Right.
That was one of our main things about starting this line. We wanted men answering those calls. Right. Iron sharpens iron.
Right.
But we didn't want men calling to bare their souls to women. Not that there's anything wrong with it, But we just feel like in this particular instance, they need to talk to another man. And we actually have that phone number, which is launching in March.
Okay. Oh.
And that phone number is 866-229-4335. That's 866-229-4335. And they're going through training and everything now. So we'll announce when the line is open so that people can start calling or texting. Now, it's not a 24/7 line because we're starting slow. But you can leave a message and one of the men will call them back.
Okay.
And that's what we're seeking to do with this line, is just to be, build that bridge and let them know we will have resources for them, and we will have warm contacts with those resources so that we can send them to places for help. We've started researching already and have found out that there are places in Wisconsin that will house men.
Oh, really?
That have been trafficked and need to get away from a situation.
Right.
Not a whole lot of them, but there are some out there. Well,
I was gonna just do one more thing
Go
for
ahead.
the warm
Yeah.
line, is that I think I've spoke on this. Well, I don't know, but just spoke on that. It's always good to have a group that when you're speaking on something or
like-minded.
saying something, that there's someone there that can understand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And someone there that has empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you have to have empathy, but at least you can understand what is being said and why a person is feeling a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Because no two people are the same. We're all different.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the male aspect, each person is going to feel a little different.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's always nice to have that group that you can talk to.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because on the line, so far, 75% of the men that'll be working the line have this lived experience or have been sexually assaulted or sexually abused in some way. So they will be able to relate. And one of the men in particular was trafficked from the age of 7 on up into adulthood. And so he is really able to identify. So we're excited about that, that they are from this like-minded, as you mentioned before,
yes.
because it makes a difference.
It makes a difference.
Well, you want to talk about myths right now?
Well, we could talk a little bit about myths
Okay.
and human trafficking.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest myths that I heard when we first started this work was that they're doing it because they want to. They are willing participants. They're not in danger. They just want to be doing it. Even the girls, even the young girls, the minors, they were saying, oh, those are just fast girls. And I was like, what? But that was one myth. And a lot of people still hold true to that. They don't believe that people are being forced into this. They believe they're doing it because they want to. So that's a big myth. You want to cover the next one?
Well, the other myth that I came out with is that the only people that are being trafficked are people on drugs.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big myth.
That's a big myth. Man, we've housewives, soccer moms, I mean, everybody. It crosses every socioeconomic background that you want to hit,
Yes.
And it's not any specific ethnic background. That was another one, Certain ethnic backgrounds, they're the ones being trafficked, They're the ones out there. And, we got this big argument going on as to whether or not prostitution and human trafficking are the same thing. Well, from my perspective, they are absolutely not. If you look at the definitions, so human trafficking has to involve fraud, force, or coercion. Follow the money. Who's getting the money or the benefit? If it's not the person that's being trafficked, then that's not prostitution, because in prostitution, I'm selling you a service and you're paying me and I'm keeping that money. That's prostitution. There's no third party getting the money. So for me, the definition is easily clear, but for a lot of people, it isn't. And this is one thing that it kind of blows your mind when you hear it, but there are people who are sex workers by choice. And so when you go to them and start talking about human trafficking, you got to make sure that they know what you're talking about. We're talking about people being forced into this. We're not talking about people who are choosing this lifestyle. And so that is something that we have to make clear to people, especially in presentations and that. And a lot of times talking to men, we have to really make this clear so that they know and understand that there's a difference, between human trafficking and prostitution. So, another myth.
That all traffickers are men.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yes.
That is a good one. Because, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because we know, I think someone is in prison right now or
one of the most notorious traffickers in the state of Wisconsin is a woman.
Yes.
And there are more than one of them. I mean, and pretty cruel. Pretty cruel. Sometimes the level of violence they inflict sometimes is worse than what the men do. And I don't know why that is, but often it is. But this one, we're not mentioning any names because we don't want to give any glory to any of that. But a lot of the traffickers, the really bad ones in the state of Wisconsin, particularly, have been women, trafficking other women. And in some instances, trafficking men to women or to men. So, they cross all the areas. And then the other one is that it only happens in certain areas. It's only happening right here in this part of the city. It's in all 72 counties of Wisconsin. And you can go to pretty much any state in the United States and find trafficking because it's a greed situation.
Yes.
It's money. People are doing it for money. And even in other countries, trafficking is found in so many different places and professions. They've broken up rings of traffickers with doctors, dentists, lawyers, policemen, So it's not a certain group of people.
No, it's not a certain group of people. And it's not, I've heard someone say, well, most of these women, because they always think it's women that are being trafficked. Well, those people they're not educated.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not educated. I have not only heard, but I have, someone came to me and said, my niece was at school and somehow she got caught up with someone that was going there and she ended up being trafficked. And you think that once you go to college, you think that they're smart enough not to get involved with something like that. But you can be coerced in like the fallacies, the untruths, and somebody starts isolating you, even on the campus. You're not with your friends anymore. You're only with that one person. So I have seen and I have heard of young ladies being tricked on the college campuses. So that has to be watched as well.
Yes. Several years ago, they caught a group of guys that would go to the frat parties as specifically looking for women to traffic. And there was actually a movie made about it that they used a bunch of different women's characters mixed together so you couldn't identify who the woman was. But they were trafficking them in trailers so that they couldn't be caught. Mobile homes so they could drive off and not be caught. And they found these statements to be true. And so it's very scary that you can be trafficked on a college campus. So you have to be careful even when your young people go off to college. And then another myth that we got is that it only happens in other countries. Doesn't happen in the United States. That's just over there in some other country, where they're mistreating people. But it's happening right here. And you can search the internet and find a case almost every day. It's absolutely happening here. But one of the ones that I think is very common among people is they think that sex trafficking is the only kind of human trafficking.
Correct.
And I think that as we go on with this show, we need to be bringing up some of those other kinds.
Yes.
Because to just touch on them would leave people going, oh my God, they didn't say anything else about that. So we're not going to go into all of them today. But I think that in future broadcasts, we need to talk about some of the other forms of human trafficking that exist. What do you think about that?
The way you said that. No, that's definitely because we only know what we know, right? So we only know what we've seen. We only know of what we've heard. But that doesn't make it everything. Because there's so much more that we don't know. There's so much more that we haven't seen. There's so much more that we don't understand. we don't understand it because it's like, I think you had mentioned earlier that you think it's just in a certain neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And when you tell people that it's in all 72 counties,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, yeah, okay. Right?
Yeah.
Right. I say, oh no, there are strip clubs like in different counties, and I don't want to mention any, but and they go, no, that's just a resort place. I'm like, okay, you could believe that, or you could believe the truth.
Yes.
But that is, it's more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And there are strip clubs, and there's still gentlemen clubs. And
is a gentleman's club and a strip club the same thing?
I believe they're different.
Do you?
Or the same. Right?
Well, I guess that's something we'll have to look into.
We'll have to look
and
into
cover
that
in a future show. But should a person be have that lived experience of human trafficking, how can they get help?
Well, I mean, they can get help by calling the national hotline, which is 1-888-7. Wait, let me give you the number. The National Human Trafficking Hotline. It's 888-373-7888.
That's right. That's right.
Or you can call us as well if you need help, and we can get you to where you need to be.
Yeah.
If you're looking for help and you just don't know where else to go, we don't expect you to pull out a book and try and go down every list of organization or every number you think that can help you. You can call us and we can give you all these numbers.
Yeah. We're a great resource to help people, but we got a simple rule, right?
What's our simple rule?
That you got to work harder at getting better than we do at helping you get better.
That's right.
Because we can't do all the work. We can create the atmosphere for you to have success, but the work is all up to you, right?
It is all
up
to
the
you.
person, because we can't make you do it. And if you're not ready to do it, okay, stay out there till you're ready. But if you're ready, we're here to help you. Right?
I just had a conversation with someone this morning, and they were saying they had lost a loved one, and this person they deal with addiction. And they're like, well, now they're gone, and now they're gonna, they might fall off. And I said, well, you know what? It never was that loved one that kept them from doing what they were doing. They have to put in that work to be able to help themselves. That loved one was never the medicine to help them not do what they're not supposed to do. That really comes from the person. And and it's the truth, because they were still doing it while that person was alive. So it was never that person that made them not do drugs or made them not drink or whatever the vice might be, whatever it is. It has to be that person. So when you say that the person has to work harder than we do, it's the absolute truth. And that's in all cases of healing.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap up in that encouragement, is that you got to do the work. We'll create the atmosphere, but you've got to do the work. So how can they stay connected with us, Carla?
You can actually stay connected with us by actually going to our CRC Contact Us. And then also every 15 minutes, I'm going to say, I need you to like and subscribe and leave us a note. Yes, leave us a note. And you can also go to our website, which is convergenceresource.org. So you have to remember to put in that convergenceresource.org.
Yes.
So,
and just in closing, want to say every decision that you make, every decision, no matter how big or how small it is, every decision you make either takes you closer to or farther away from your goal. Think about that when you're making a decision. Every decision counts, no matter how big it is, no matter how small it is. But every decision will either bring you closer to it or take you farther away from it. So choose wisely. Thanks, folks, for tuning in. We'll see you next time to have a little conversation.
The Convergence Resource Center provides support services for women rebuilding their lives after trauma, with an emphasis on survivors of human trafficking and justice-involved women. We envision individuals who are empowered to make healthy choices that lead to productive, positive lifestyles within their homes and communities. The Convergence Resource Center sincerely thanks everyone for their generous donations. Your compassion makes it possible for us to support women on their healing journeys, rebuild families, and strengthen communities. For more information about the Convergence Resource Center and how you can get involved, visit us online at www.convergenceresource.org.